Morning and welcome to the Skeinz Diaries. You're here with Marie. It's episode 164 on a rather cool and not the greatest of days here in Hawke's Bay, but that's right, May the 30th. And welcome along. Welcome along for another day. Sorry about that, Claire. I'm in the office today. Claire and I have literally just walked in the door. It's a Monday. It's a day. I tell you what, been over at the mill, and I'm kind of glad we were a little bit late because we got to bring stuff back with us, which always makes us happy, which is good news. Very good news. Loads of yarn. We've got a lot of stuff that will be coming back into stock this week, which is really exciting. So I'm really happy about that. So the receipting and actually the stuff that's sitting on the truck, has that been no, okay, this week. It'll be happening this week. The sigh says it all. The sigh over the shoulder says it all. But it is. The good news is one of those things on the back of that truck. Did I see baby white on there?
It's only a small amount at the moment, but
the rest is coming. There you go. Look, see, great news, right? Great news. So yes, there we definitely, and I saw some Cove on there. I know that we've been redoing. I think there were some cozies and stuff's coming, so there, but definitely some Coves coming back. So that's exciting too because we've been out of stock of a number of those. So do watch out. Probably on Thursday's newsletter, I will have a big restock list for everybody to let you know what has come back in. So that is really exciting news. Good morning, everyone coming in. Oh, good morning, Morgan. Thank you very much. Yes, this is my Nanil chick, which I threw on this morning, and with its little wee matchy hat. Yeah, it's cold here this morning. Really, 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 really cold. So I dusted off the nice and warm because it's just meh, absolutely meh. Right, I popped along to Woolfest on Saturday. I was actually there quite late because I wasn't there so much to shop. I was there to chat, which was really, really lovely. Really lovely. It was so nice to talk to and catch up with so many people. It's just lovely. Creative Fibre Auckland do the most incredible job with that event. It really is brilliant. If you don't get a chance to go, QMU Showgrounds, and Margaret and her team there and all the volunteers just pull out all the stops. Even with COVID and all the challenging conditions, it was still as amazing as it always is. And for me, it's the first time in ages that I've actually just gone as a Joe Bloggs member of the public, which was actually really fun because in every year that I've been up there, I've always been in Shed 4 and never got out of Shed 4 because I'm just working the entire time. To have 2 hours to start at Shed 1 and slowly meander my way all the way across to Shed 4, chatting and looking at yarn and just chilling out was wonderful. Just wonderful. It was neat. It was really, really neat actually. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. There was just so much to look at from every aspect, from whether you were a knitter, a crocheter, a spinner, a carder. I have to admit, the hardest thing for me was trying to keep my wallet in my pocket. Because of course I need more yarn, like a hole in the head. But I start in Shed 1. Annette Montgomery from Twisted Sisters is in Shed 1, and as many of you know, I have a serious addiction and love of her art yarns. I just adore them so much. And she had a new design sitting up on one of her mannequins, integrating the art yarns in there. And if you've never seen her work, if you've never seen Annette's work, I'm almost 100% certain she's going to be at Capital Fibre Fest as well. She is a hand spinner and she creates these amazing art yarns using different techniques, applying techniques, texture techniques in hand spinning. She adds not only fibre, she adds leather, she adds feathers, she adds colour. They're incredible, absolutely incredible, and I adore them. I adore them so much. So I started there, which was always a dangerous place for me to start because I start with something I love so much. So I caught up with Annette, so that was neat. And then sort of meandered through. There were so many. I caught up with Neverly alpacas and all their beautiful alpaca, DEA yarns. I know so many of you love the cones and the socks and all the cool stuff from DEA. And the wonderful Cheryl from New Zealand Fabrics and Yarns was working on that stand. So I had a really neat catch up with Cheryl. Where else did I go? I caught up with the team at Wild Earth, our sort of, partners in crime, mill friends from down south. So they had all their yarns there, and it was the first time for them trading at Woolfest. So it was really exciting for them. So I had a great catch up with them. And just across the hall from them was Lisa Craig from Lisa F Designs. And I've got a photo with Lisa. I'll pop that up. And it was great to chat to her. She was there with all her patterns. She's also got the Burnt Hill Yarn Company. And we had a great chat, because it's nice to finally meet her in person when you know someone just over the phone and digitally for the number of years we have. It's so nice to actually finally put a face to the name. So she travelled up for the event, and if you don't know, Lisa is going to be teaching. She's a new teacher for Knit August Nights this year. So we were able to talk about that too. So it was awesome. So fantastic. So that, I really enjoyed that. That was loads of fun. Caught up with a beautiful Bronwyn Carol and her lovely husband, and had a big chat to them and talked about some new designs and stuff that she's got coming out. So it was fun. I caught up with Heather Haylock from the Granny McFlitter. Granny McFlitter herself was there, and so that was fun. We had a chat, and she was telling me about what she's got coming up in terms of bookings. And yes, Granny will be back later in the year, so that was neat. Oh, so good. And I caught up with, of course, good friends Julie and Paul from Harney's Hoolies, and Katrine from I just waved to her. She didn't see me, she was so busy. From Yarn Floozy were there, as well as Helene from Happy Go Nitty. So that was fun. And then I sort of kind of all did a big loop, and then Ian, I caught up with Ian from Man-Made Fibre, and my friend Callum, he bought some stuff from Ian. And Ian had just had such beautiful, bright sight. And and then, of course, Lynn and her friend Annalise over at Fibre to Go caught up with them. Oh, there's Heather. Yes, I did see Heather there. It was great. And then, and caught up with Lynn at Fibre to Go, and had a great chat to her too. So it was, and I miss people, I'm sure. Seriously, I was there for 2.5 hours and just talked nonstop the whole time. And it was so nice to be able to do that. Actually, it was great. Rachel, I ran into Rachel. I ran into so many people. I did. It was lovely. So a huge thank you to Margaret and all the team at Creative Fibre Auckland. They just do such an amazing job, and it's worth it. If when the next dates are announced for next year, do pop it in the calendar and make the effort, because there is so much to see. I've come home absolutely buzzed and inspired by the yarns that I've seen, and I've got I think it's because it's the first big show of the season. I sort of feel quite energized now about even the knitting and the work that I'm doing. Speaking of, I remembered to bring my project in because I was traveling up. I flew, actually, because usually I drive because I've got stock, but because it was just me, I thought, I've got airline credits from cancellation, so I thought I'll choose some of those up and I'll fly up. And then I realized that, of course, I'm working on the Limerick sweater, which for my husband, which is a big bulky sweater, and I'm onto the back. I could have just taken the back, but it's still a big chunky, it's an Aran knit, so it's a decent sort of chunky knit, which is not really plain knitting. And then I've got my blanket. Well, I'm not going to take that on the plane. And then shoji is the other thing that's sitting in hibernation at the minute. Well, that's still I'm at a stage where that's so large, that's not really plain knitting either. So I thought I need to find something small and simple for the plane. And I don't do socks. I know a lot of you do socks for plain knitting. I don't do socks. So I went to my absolute stopgap, always knit it when I travel and fly, Niada from Martina Beam, which as many of you know, I have knit a million squillion of them over the years, and it's my favourite plain knitting because it's essentially it's funnily enough, I think it's written for a DK yarn originally, and I've knit it in every weight yarn known to man. I find that it takes around, if I do a 4-ply, around 400 meters ish of yarn. So I thought, well, I'll just do I'll do a Niada. So I jumped into stash because I thought, right, this is the perfect time to do one of these. Is also when I've got a single unicorn skein of something in the stash, and I will do that. So I decided, right, let's dive in and do that. And I found just the thing, and it is deep stash. This would be from, well, I bought it at Knit August Nights, and it was her first year at Knit August Nights, which I think was year. So I think it might have been year 4, maybe year 5. So it's easily 7. It's been in stash for about easily 6 or 7 years. So that sits there. And this is Nanaba from Australia. And it is just utterly beautiful. And this is hand dyed using white gum wool. And so you can imagine, I just adore it. So it's spun by us. Unbelievably buttery soft. This colorway is called Artichoke because the center, and as you can see, I've nearly finished with the center. The center, it's called Artichoke because the center was that pink. And so it's essentially just a very long, subtle long print. And I'm just in that sort of first, as you can see, there's the colors are starting to transition now. And I chose this A because it's just the most delicious thing in the world to knit. It is so soft and beautiful and lovely. And I was like, oh, perfect. Something from deep. And also, I know that this will block out. Here we go. Yeah, this, when it blocks, it will block out. I can be quite vigorous on the blocking with this. I'm doing this on I think it's a 3.25. It's a US 3, whatever that is. Therese, I can see you're in there. Tell me what a US 3 is. I think it's 3. So the 3.5 or 3.25. It was it was the needle that I had sitting next to my chair. So that's what I grabbed, and it's, as you can see, it's looking fabo. And I love this pattern, obviously, because it's committed to noodle. So it means that I don't need to have the pattern with me, and I just can just put my audio book in on the plane. It's really beautiful. Suzanne saying, beautiful yarn, cross the ditch a few times. I don't think Nanuba is still operating. Yeah, actually, I'm not too sure either. She may not be. She may not. I don't know how she did it because she's got, just trying to think how many kids she's got. At the time, I think she had 4. And first name's just gone. It's just gone. But her and her husband both came out the first year and visited, and they had such a wonderful time. And it was their first holiday ever that they'd ever had away. Mark, he is a vicar, and he had just been, they relocated to a new parish not long after that, and I know that it is his first solo parish, and I think she stopped because she was so busy with work in the parish, which is really lovely. But I've got a couple. It was funny. I didn't realise I had that one, and I've got one other. I was quite excited to find that too. I was like, oh, I've actually got 2. It's a bit like Christmas actually, going into deep stash, because it was in deep. It was like right back, deep stash. Deep stash. Denise, what is your hat pattern, please? Lovely shape. This is a Marie made up jobby, I'm afraid, Denise, and it's one of the ones I haven't written down. Sorry. I'm very famous for it. It is actually, though, I can tell you, it is actually a done on 2 needles, though. Look, seamed. So it's not done on the round. It's on my round 2 it programmed, and so hold on, and where is it? There it is there. It's not the world's greatest seaming it back, but it's on my round 2 it program, and it's one that I, again, kind of do from memory, and I should write down for people. And it's a variation from, I have got one called Buskey's, I think I just call it Buskey's Bog Standard Beanie. I don't think I've got it on a Ravelry. I've definitely got it in the shop. But this one has got a shorter crown, and it's actually got a series of increases, I think. I've got a couple of them. Dare I say it, I have a tendency to knit these under the influence of alcohol, so I don't necessarily always write down what I'm knitting. Shocking. I know. It's me. Anyway, this morning, I came in early this morning. I know I showed you guys this ages ago. Absolutely ages ago. It is all in. It is here. We had a delay. The first few came in, and then we had a bit of a gap from the mill with the tail end Charlies, and we didn't. And I hate loading stuff up of like a couple of colours, and then we have to wait for the rest of the colours. And I wanted to do them all at the same time. So what this is, for a reminder, is these are a trial, but I think they are going to stay because we really like them. Not necessarily in the colours that they're in. They've just been, as I said, they were a trial, so they actually got popped through with something else in the spray tunnels. So it was whatever was booked in the spray tunnel at the time. A couple of the colours actually may come back, but yeah, Claire and I will probably work on them more permanently. But what it is we have played around with Southalnder, and we all know how much we love Southalnder, and we created a marl, a threefold yarn, which is the DK. And what the marl is it's one strand of bracken, one strand of oatmeal, and one strand of cream to do this lovely marl. And then we wanted to see what it would look like on its own and with some prints. So we actually threw it, because we had prints running at the time, it got thrown in with some prints, and they've come out rather fun. So we've just put them in 100-gram balls for everybody. So there's two interesting things with this. One, these feel fantastic. They've got a really good handle on them. And part of the reason for that is because they have been printed as opposed to being vat dyed, which can actually harden the yarn up a little bit, whereas the prints will keep the yarn quite supple. So for Southlander, this feels really good. So that's the Tiawonga, which is this one here. So I just knitted this little swatch ages ago, and as you can see, it's a really nice, fun, random print. And we now have all 5 colours. So they are up and loaded on the Southlander DK page. And you may also notice that actually I'm going to show you, because I have the power. I can do this. One can do this. Let's have a look. Chrome, and I want that. There we go. So let me just jump there. Right. Okay, let's show this to you guys because I can. Right. So what I've gone and done is, under our yarn by brand, I've actually broken our Southlander out into their 3 ways. So before the DK and the bulky were together, I've now divided them out to Southlander Sport, Southlander DK, and Southlander Bulky, because these marls, hopefully, we're hoping to definitely bring them to you in DK and Bulky, and potentially also in Sport. We're just still working on that at the minute. That's a little bit trickier, and I won't bore you with the details of why that is. But under Southlander DK, boom, there they all are. So the big point of difference that I have to let you know is there's 2. One is that they are on our everyday Skeinz label, because we've done them in 100-gram balls. And the reason for that is that it's easier for you guys, but we've done them on the 100-gram balls because we are going to be moving all of our Southlander back to 100-gram balls. We've had everyone loves the 200-gram balls, but often too, when you're doing projects, jumping to that next 200 grams is a real pain in the butt, and just 100 is it's just a nice sort of break. And also it means that all the Southlanders will be in 100-gram balls, which from a mill perspective, an efficiency perspective over there, it makes their lives a little bit easier. So it's, all good all round. So we moved these already. So that's why they've got the Skeinz label on them, because we haven't done new Southlander labels yet. But when these come back in their next alliteration and with new colours and stuff, they will have their Southlander labels, which will be exciting. So there's 5 of them, and that's all of them there. There's a couple of brights, and obviously, look at that. They're so fun. They're really happy. They're really fun. What I am doing is pulling together. I'm just halfway through the newsletter right now, and I'm just pulling together some ideas that you could potentially do with these. Obviously, if you're wanting just to do something bright and colourful, like a blanket, like I'm doing, perfect. These would be amazing. But you can actually do some colour work with these. And so I'm going to just get rid of that and show you what I did dig up. This is it going in the newsletter, actually. I found a couple of designs, and this is the first one I found. So hold on, let's get that up to there. Let's put that in there. There we go. So I in my effort to sort of, I wanted to have a look at designers that have been doing colour work, but have also been playing around with random coloured yarns in their colour work. So I've only just started this hunt, and this is the first one that I hunted up this morning, was this project here. And this is from Caitlin Hunter. This is Boyland Knitworks. And I did this because I know that she does work with Spin Cycle. And this was a design that I'd seen before. This is called Koivua, and it's knitted to a 21 stitch tension, which is perfect for Southlander DK. And this design uses a hand spun random coloured yarn through the colour work, but the actual body is just a cream. And we've got cream DK. There we go. We've got cream, plenty of Southlander cream DK, and I just thought these would work really well, especially this one here, which is called Bayview, or the green. This green one is called West Shore. Those two especially, I thought would work really, really well in this design. So that's the first one I've gone and dug up. There will be more. I'm literally just got back, and I'm going to have a little play around with that. Andrea's saying might try Phoenix poncho with it. Yeah, that's a great idea, Andrea. And it's about sort of not being afraid to play around and find a design with some colour work that you want to do. I mean, you could also do something really crazy and radical and do something like a Tecumseh and do all the colour work, cream as your background, and throw these in as your colour work. That would be fun. Also with these two, like with these two that I've just picked up, we've got Lake Blue in stock as well. So these two would work really well with Lake Blue. This one is Bayview. It would work fabulously well with a silver, or even just the natural bracken. Would look fantastic with this. This has actually got quite a bit of the natural bracken showing through on this colour as well. That would work really well too. So, and if you've got stash yarns, because we're out of stock of a lot of them, they are coming back. But if you've got Foxy Red, Lake Blue, or Goldenrod in stock, this would look great with those. This one would look, I think, that one there is called Te-Wanga. This one is Tamatea. This one, I think, would look great with Loganberry as a deep base colour. It'd be loads of fun. So would this, actually. And this one would look really good with Misty Rose, if you've got any Misty Rose in stash. They add lots of colour. If you're wanting to play around with some Stephen West, actually, and use existing Southlander colours as your solid, and then play around with those, like in the painting bricks, and move around with them, or a bubble cowl or something like that, it just adds a really good pop of colour. So those are finally up, $8.95 a ball. So those are brilliant. Muriel wants to know, did you name them, Claire?
No,
I'd actually
I'm
not
allowed to name things.
No, she's not.
You'll know if I name something. It'll be hilarious.
No, I did, because you told me off, because I wrote Bayview as a single word, and it is because she lives at Bayview, and she said no, it's definitely 2 words, capital B, capital V. I was
the only
told.
time I'm allowed to name something is if Marie's away.
And then I come back, and yeah. Mind you, I did talk to our other person at the mill who looks after a lot of the labelling and naming of things. We've just been there. I did have to have a word with her. I said, I need to talk to you about you naming stuff before it comes to us. And she goes, what do you mean? And I looked at her and she went, oh, you're talking about Neville, aren't you? And I went, yes, I am. talking about Neville. Shit, I tell you what. I've got to watch them. They're shocking. Kathy, bless her heart, and I've got, thank you, and Kathy, I've got your first, Kathy, I have to tell you what Kathy did. We love Kathy. Kathy is sent me, because we still have in the shop, and you still have a couple of days to make good on this online. We're doing our gift with purchase with Bohemia, and Kathy said, oh, I've got all my Bohemia knits here, I'll dig them out and I'll send them to you for a display in the shop. So we've just put the first few out in the shop. Amazing. So I've got the Starflake shawls out there, I've got the bubble cowl out there, I've got the painting brick hat out there. I'm going to, this is good, this Kathy, oh, these are all Kathy's Bohemia knits. They're amazing. She's even sent me her staff blanket. It's amazing, sitting right there. So cool. Thank you, Kathy. So good. It's so beautiful. So don't forget that that is still available. So if you're wanting to get those knit blockers as your gift with purchase, do make sure you get your Bohemia order in. Doesn't matter. It can be either DK or standard, light, full play, Bohemia light. Just as long as it's more than $200, you get the gift. Easy peasy. Yes, naming, clear, no. And honestly, yes, we won't go there. Last but not least, I know you've probably been looking at them sitting here. Look at those. Found these on a desk when we went to the mill. Aren't they gorge? Absolutely gorgeous. These are on Albertine base, aren't they? Sheen washable merino, I've got a funny feeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Flight base.
Yes.
Flight base.
What? Pardon?
Flight base.
Oh, flight base, was it?
Yeah.
Flight base. There we go, flight base. Gorgeous, right? So these are some more of, these have all been hand dyed. We're still playing around with it and perfecting it, but this is a new color, so I am going to get this photographed today and get these up for you. So we only have a limited amount of these for sale. They all are they're all the same color, but as you can see, there is just slight differences in intensity. So I grabbed those two to show you, because those probably are the most extreme. So that's sort of probably at the lightest end of the scale to the darkest end of the scale there. So this is going to be a different mix color, which will, fingers crossed, if we can get all the codes and stuff and be in by the end of today. And yes, as I said, this is on our flight base. It feels fantastic. Again, because it's just been hand dip dyed, so it keeps the yarn beautiful and unctuous and lovely. So keep an eye out for those. The plan is to have these loaded up and in the newsletter for you for this afternoon. See, all the exciting stuff before the end of the month. I know Margaret's going, ooh, I know. I won't have these necessarily in the shop, actually, is the one thing I will say, because I know there's a few locals in there, only because I haven't had a chance to load them up into Vend. And in saying that, I haven't loaded these into Vend yet too, so I need to get, which is the shop part, I need to get onto that. Okay, babbling. I'm going to stop talking so I can go and load stuff for you. I will definitely be back on Thursday, and it will be the first Thursday of the month. So I will check in with Ethan, and we'll have Ethan o'clock. I haven't confirmed that, but I will, fingers crossed, we will have Ethan o'clock on Thursday for our first Thursday of the month. And until then, have some great knitting. And I mean, the weather is definitely knitting weather, isn't it? It's what we love. I will keep you in touch then, and until then, have a great rest of the week and knit on, have fun. See ya.